So a very good night in the UK, but everywhere else it's probably morning, afternoon, evening. So it's obviously right from the Raj podcast with very special guest who I was speaking with. Obviously, Anne Castle, obviously to bring you on. She was mentioning about you, and I thought, yeah, why not? This would be it would be good. And then I did a bit of research on yourself. Checked out your website, checked out the YouTube channel, and that kind of stuff
Thank you.
and stuff. But first of all, obviously, so hopefully I'll say this right. Is it Dariann? Is it Dariann?
Yeah, yeah, right on. Right on.
Right. Okay. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah. Not too bad. Thank you. Yeah. And I'm
Good.
sure. Is it early in the morning down there? What time are we looking at?
It is exactly 6 p.m. here.
That's not too bad. Not too
No,
bad.
no, not bad at all.
Not bad at all. All right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you've already had an amazing journey. I mean, it's hard to figure out where to start from with yourself because you've already had lots of stuff. You've done lots of stuff, and
Thank you.
on there I've seen on YouTube. I think it was about 5 years ago where you sang I think it was Elvis Presley song, a cover version.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That was so long ago. Yeah, I haven't posted a
It was
cover
about
on
five
there in
years
a
ago,
minute.
wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was about 5 years ago.
Wow.
How long have you been in singing? If we start.
I've been singing since I could talk. I really used music as a tool to learn throughout school. So you would catch me in spelling tests, like singing the letters to spell a word through music and through a melody. I was writing music before I realized that I was writing music, was doing all things musical from the time that I was little. Very much so had an internal beat that I was moving to all of the time. So I started singing really little, and it was in church and school, and then as I was turned 14, I started singing out and singing publicly and doing my own sort of gigs and things like that. So caught onto it pretty early.
Yeah, and you come from you come from a town. I think it's hopefully I'll say is it Minnesota? Is it Minnesota?
Minnesota. Yeah, yeah.
Minnesota. Minnesota. Yeah, it's because there are lots of places in the US which I'm not really aware of. Obviously, we all know about New York and
Right,
the big places, New York and all these kind of places, or
right.
Nashville. Minnesota, obviously, we don't hear that much, obviously, in the news and that kind of stuff. On there, so tell us a bit about Minnesota. What kind of place was it coming out of, and what about the music scene down there?
Yeah. So I'm from a very, very small town in one of the towns on the furthest northern point of Minnesota. So the live music scene wasn't large. There was occasionally times where there would be live music, but it wasn't frequent by any means. Minnesota as a whole is a very great state for country music. I think they're some of like the truest forms of country music fans. So it was really great to travel around and play. However, my hometown specifically didn't have a lot of live music. But Minnesota is known for its 10,000 lakes, which I'm definitely a lakes girl, so it makes it really fun. Um, and it's just a great, quiet state to live in, depending on the area that you're in. But you definitely do hear more about like New York or Nashville or LA than you do about Minnesota.
Yeah, definitely, and it's. I guess that does happen. I mean, with the media, I guess
Right,
we have that in the UK where everyone will talk about the big cities. Obviously, you've got London and
right,
Leicester and these kind of cities, but obviously you don't hear much about Leeds in the UK in the media
right, right,
or Bradford. These kind of cities you don't hear much about, to be honest.
right.
Um, they don't get mentioned much. But yeah, I mean, it does sound like a nice place. Is it not a very large population of a town?
My hometown population is 700. It might be a few more,
700.
or less, but 700 people total. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No
Wow.
stoplights. I graduated high school one of 14 students in my entire class. So, and that was like the entire class, not just like my section or anything. Very, very small town roots. And when I say small town, I mean like true small town, especially hearing the population.
Yeah, I can't even imagine such when you said 700, I thought you were saying 700 thousand or something.
Right. You're expecting more
Um,
to follow that.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, really. Did any kind of artists come out of Minnesota? Do you think? Whether it's
Uh,
music
a lot of people know Prince, who is from Minnesota originally.
or
There's a
Prince?
handful of, yeah, musicians that are originally from Minnesota.
Wow.
Just name the biggest one right off the bat, though.
No, Prince. Everybody knows Prince. Yeah, definitely. I
Right,
mean, he's such a massive icon.
right,
Definitely. Yeah, everybody's grown up listening to Prince and obviously um, MJ, and
right. As
everybody's
you should, as you should.
as he showed. Yeah, that's something I was when once. Where I was working, there was a cafe where I was going every day because it was a local, and we that's what we used to talk about and growing up, and they used to mention as well that they used to listen to these artists, Prince, MJ,
Right.
growing up as well. They said, who doesn't listen to them growing up?
Exactly, exactly. It's an obligation. I'm pretty sure it's
It's
like
sort of
on
like
our birth certificate. You must listen to these people.
exactly. It's about like a mandatory thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, did it? How did you inspire that you wanted to get into music? Was there anyone in the family who was into music, or?
My family is very big into appreciating music. They're very big music
Hmm.
fans. There's a little bit of singing in my family and people that have been able to play instruments and things, but there isn't anyone in my family that's like especially musical or has pursued music as a career.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, but that's nice that they appreciate music. I mean, that's
Yes.
good because
Yeah.
if you have that kind of a family spot where they appreciate music, they understand why you want to do it.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
that obviously that helps you especially at the beginning.
For
Where you
sure.
looking where you're looking for that kind of a spot. But who were you actually listening to in country music, and why country music?
For me, I think, as I stated earlier, Minnesota is such a
Hmm.
large state for country music. I think
Oh,
it's like
right,
some of country music's biggest fans are in Minnesota. Granted, they are everywhere, but every time I go home, I'm like, this is the home of and the heart of like what country music is all about. And that was just natural for me to be listening to country music all of the time. And I listened to a lot of that. I have three older brothers, so there's a lot of different influences and different musical tastes. There's plenty of Shania Twain, the early 2000s women of country, Shania Twain, Jody Messina, Martina McBride, you name it. And then there was like toss-ins of like listening to Kiss and Journey and you name it, I probably listened to it. My mom was really into like Broadway musicals, so I definitely was around a lot of different sounds from a very young age, which I think has given me the capacity to be able to stretch my take on country music a little bit further because I grew up with different roots in different genres.
yeah. I mean, who can forget? I mean, especially the beginning of Shania Twain's music
Right,
journey, because when I think I've mentioned this to a couple of people that yeah, and they've said the same thing that when Shania Twain started, there wasn't many female country music singers at the time.
right.
Uh, which is Shania Twain, and there probably was Dolly there, Dolly
Oh
Parton,
yeah,
and
like
apart
the
from these two,
classics, yeah.
there wasn't anyone else really. Because
Yeah, it was definitely a breakthrough time frame, I feel like, for females in country music. There have
yeah,
definitely been plenty that had paved the way, but we
yeah.
were still like really rooting females into country music at that time, especially. And still now, but especially then.
Yeah, definitely. I think it probably was tougher then to get that kind of airplay for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
country artists and stuff, and probably more the males were getting the more the airplays.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely the case for sure. We needed those strong females to really lay out the groundwork and pave the way for those of us now that are in country music. Without the Dolly Partons and Loretta Lynn, you name them, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. It's extremely, extremely important that they had done what they have done and continue to be able to do what they've been able to do. And I think every female that you hear on the radio is helping pave that way even more.
yeah, and the strange thing is, every time you look at Dolly, she doesn't look 1 year older, does she?
No, Dolly is just
I,
next level human, capable of all things.
I know.
I
But just
forever
like,
love her.
yeah, I know, absolutely. I mean, I remember seeing an interview and stuff, and I'm like, what year am I watching? You know what I mean? It's like, is it 24 or 2024? Is it back in 20, 30 years ago? Because
Right,
she looks the same, energetic, everything the same.
right,
Uh, and it's crazy. I mean, uh, I remember watching so many musicians, but now you don't know where they are. You know,
right,
they've gone out of the scene. So many artists have gone out, they've just disappeared out of the scene. Maybe, some get truly tired. They've written so much, and after about 10, 15 years, they're exhausted. Then they need a break and stuff. But Dolly just goes on. She's just totally, energetic about it all. Which is which I think is it's a special thing, that is, to be honest, to
right, for
stay
sure.
at the
She
same
is
level for so many years.
incredibly unique and
Yeah,
one of her own. Like there is never going to be another Dolly Parton by any means.
definitely not. And there's something we have to mention is obviously your website, which I've checked out. This is the website there, your
Yeah.
official website, Dariann.com. Do check it out. And if obviously you're watching this afterwards, which a lot of the UK people, I guess, are going to be, do check it out on the website. We'll put it on the video as well, on the video description. It will be on there. Check it out. And on the can everyone purchase your music directly on your website?
Yeah, for me, my website is like the best home base to find all things Dariann Leigh. So
Yeah.
merchandise shows, like you're saying, all of my music. It is your landing page, your home for all things me. So go check it
Oh,
out. You can see things, and sometimes I post new merch on there without really announcing it. I give it a couple days and then I announce just to see if anybody checks on it and happens to catch it before anybody else does. So it does not hurt to be checking it frequently.
yeah, absolutely. Do check it out, and I've obviously, and do check out Darren's on the website. Obviously, there'll be links to a social media, YouTube channel, which I've just recently subscribed to as well.
Me
Um,
too.
and I was checking the videos, so I was like, okay, might as well just subscribe as well. Uh,
While you're
I'll
at
check
it.
while I'm at it. Yeah, so yeah, there was a single you sang. We'll talk about your new music as well very shortly. But I saw there was a single you released, which you said it was dedicated to the military.
Yeah.
So tell us about that single. How did you decide to dedicate it to the military? How did it come about?
For me, the person that I loved was serving overseas in a deployment at the time that I wrote that. And I think even by the time I'd released it, he was still in the service. So it
Right.
was something that I was going through at the moment. And when your person is overseas and you can't talk to them often, if not even often really at all, you don't get to know anything about what they're doing or where they are for their safety and for yours. But it gets to feel very lonely. Like you feel like you're the only one going through that situation, despite the fact that you obviously are aware that other people are experiencing your unique circumstances and have been in your shoes. But when you're experiencing it, it can feel very secluded and very alone. So for me at the time, I was actually in Nashville. I was in a hotel as well before I moved. And I was trying to decide what other song I wanted to record for the year. And I sat down in the hotel bathroom of my room. And if you've never sang in a hotel bathroom, highly recommend. The acoustics are great. I wrote it in 15 minutes, which is certainly not the case for a lot of songs, but I think It was definitely written in the form of a diary entry that's engraved in song. So releasing it, I think people can hear the true and raw emotion to it, and that's been a lot of people's connection to the song, is that it feels so emotional and they can tell how much of my heart is connected to it. And within that, I think other people also feel like somebody else has been in their shoes and they are not entirely alone during that experience. And there's been a lot of really cool things I've been able to do since releasing that song. I did a tribute video for veterans and current service members, and that is still to this day one of the coolest things I've been able to do in my career. And I hope to be able to continue more of that and to be able to give back in those ways and to be able to honor the people that deserve that sort of an honor. Because I might be singing the song, I might have written the song and recorded it, but it's not about me, it's about them.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely, definitely. I mean, I guess we forget, don't we? Because we get most of the stuff, and obviously we forget, I guess, sometimes the kind of sacrifices the military does do, or
Yeah.
what they go through.
And it's
Uh,
it's deeper than the service member too. Obviously, their sacrifice is something that is incredibly large and cannot be
yeah,
overseen, but the people that love them also make sacrifices too for them to be
that's
able
true.
to pursue that service. And I think that sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle of when we think about it. You forget about all of the people back home thinking about them and supporting them, because that support team is large, and I'm sure that many have struggled with that as well. And I can't imagine being a service member without that sort of a support team. And for those, I give all of my love to them. But it is important to note the people that are back home too. But obviously, their service is the main focus. It is just very cool to be able to have helped people to notice the people that are back home and really amongst the unknown of their service member being off deployed, and also when they get back home, because there's a large adjustment to be made when service members come home, and it's not something that can be overseen either. And I think
Mm,
it's important to note that that support team is largely instrumental towards their service and their career, and if you're able to help support people that are going through that, it's very instrumental.
yeah, I mean, I have heard of cases where military people come, and once they've left the military, they do find it difficult to adjust to the normal life,
Yeah,
uh,
because they've been
because it's not,
very
yeah,
they've gone through such a regiment, they've had their lives be so scheduled, and now
mm,
they're the ones that are fronting their entire lives, and they're not being told what to do.
mm,
And I think you go from something with such a large purpose that a lot of people struggle with finding a purpose in the civilian world, although their purpose is within their heart. Like it's above what you're able to see sometimes. And it's definitely a struggle. And I think whatever we can do to help support those that are going through that, we should, and we should want to do as well.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely, definitely. It's definitely a nice thing what you've done there. Definitely, absolutely.
Thank you.
And yeah, so you've so in total at the moment, how many singles have you released so far?
Ooh, I get asked this from time to time, and I fail to count. I've released well over 8.
8 so far.
The exact number is above me because I live song by song. It's
So
definitely quite a few.
wow. So how many in this year in 24?
This year alone, I've released 1 song. However, I have 2 others coming, or 3, sorry, excuse me. I have 3 others coming out this year, so you'll definitely get your fill of my music.
Yeah, lots of amazing music for your diehard fans to listen to.
Yes.
Definitely. And what about have you released an EP so far, and or are you planning to get one out?
My first songs that I had released were all put together in an EP, just introducing people to me. However, I
Right.
released them as singles. So when you're looking on streaming, it's not like Dariann Leigh, the EP, it's just several singles. And some of those songs are slowly coming off of streaming because I recorded them when I was like 17. My voice has changed a lot. My sound has changed a lot. And though I absolutely love those songs and I think of them very fondly, I think the songs that you're going to continue to hear come out from me, identify me in my music much more now. And I think it's important that people get their first introduction to me through those songs.
Wow, 17. That's crazy, that is. That's
Yeah.
this wow. That's like that's so 17. So when did you actually decide then you wanted to do this as a full-time thing gig?
I started really getting into gigs and playing around and literally saying yes to every single opportunity that I could at around 17, like right as I was turning
17.
17, when it was when I was booked up all summer playing shows, 16, 17, really. I turned 18 before I went to college, and I did college on campus for a semester. And I did 20 plus shows the month of December. And here, the month of December is also when you take all of your finals, so your large exams for that semester. And I realized just how difficult it was to put together this holiday show traveling all around the Midwest while also trying to study and do well on my large exams. And that was really the turn of the chapter for me in thinking education is really important. However, this is what fuels me, and I need to go
Yeah.
towards that. And that one semester, I learned a lot about myself and decided that it was time for me to start coming here and record music. And by here, I mean Nashville, and start doing this full time. And that's what I've done since.
And how was it? How hard was it when you moved to Nashville to get the help to the spot in Nashville, or did you get somebody who helped you, start off?
Yeah, so I traveled here for the first time. I think misspoke when I said I was 17 on some of those songs. I believe I was 18. I
Right.
traveled here for the first time when I was 18. And thankfully, I'd met a few people who were able to kind of help guide me into finding studios and recording these songs that I'd written up that I've been stacking up for a while. And from there, since then, you definitely stumble into some rooms that you're like, all right, I think I'll move to the next one. And that's just on growth most of the time, too. But I've been very lucky to have met some very incredible people that have certainly helped me to be where I am now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, Nashville is. I mean, it still is the place where country music is.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a Nashville, and I don't know. You may have heard this already, but you may not have. But obviously, in the UK, the country music is becoming a massive sensation
Love
as well.
that. I
Lots of
love that.
yeah, and it's like and I've chatted to so many UK singers who have become country music singers, female singers, and they're born in the UK, but they're into country music.
Right, which
Um,
is awesome.
so which is I know it's awesome, and I was shocked at like and I was like, how am I going to ask them? I don't want to sound very, weird asking them, but so I tried to ask them exactly how they got into this without, sounding a bit, you know, and they said they were like always into they listen to country music at a very young age,
Right.
and they got into country music and they wanted to be a country music singer. So the country music craze is, I think it's going around the world. To be honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody wants becoming to get into country music, so which is remarkable. It's great. Yeah.
It really is, and
Um,
I think that's, like, the whole thing with music is international.
yeah.
Whether it's even in the same language that you speak or not, music is a feeling that is international to all people. Everybody can feel music, and I think that's the coolest part about it, is it's an art that everybody can find relation to.
Yeah. And talking about, obviously you've released some latest music. Tell us about your latest single and when did it come out?
Yeah, I released my most recent single, Bury Me on Broadway, about a handful of weeks ago. I wrote it with Lenny Pay, AJ Gacio, Tiffany Goss, and Tom Tippin. We wrote it several months ago, well before the holidays, and we got into the room and I didn't really know what we were going to write about that day. However, I'd had the hook, Bury Me on Broadway, written in my phone for 2 years. I've had this song idea for a very long time. I was just very protective of it. I wanted to make sure that we did it, or that I introduced it to the right room and the right group. And it was just the right energy where I knew we could really kill it, because that title was incredible. And Lenny looked at me and was like, "We should write a female version of a Morgan Wallen song." And I was like, "Say less." I've had this idea in my pocket for 2 years, waiting for someone to hit me with the right thing that made me want to introduce it. And you just did. And we wrote it. And from the second we started, I was like, "I'm cutting this. Like, I'm cutting the song, I'm releasing the song, and I cannot wait." And it's been really cool. It's been really awesome to have this little song baby out in the world.
Yeah. So the single, when was that released? The single?
I believe the release date, and I can pull it up here just so I'm like not misspeaking.
Yeah.
My focus is always on like what's next once we release a song. The song came out on May 31st. So it's been
Oh,
a
excellent.
almost a
So
month.
it's just yes, it's not that far ago there,
No.
31st, yeah. On there. So yeah, that's exciting stuff. So do check it out, and obviously do like Dariann said, you can purchase it on a website, so you can do check it out on a website. That's the one I was listening to just before we came on here.
Love it. Love it. As you
Yeah,
should.
I was listening to it, and it's not. It's yeah, it's got a great vibe to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Because like you said, music doesn't have any religion or anything. It just it's beyond anything music, and probably like yourself, I listen to lots of different music, different
Yeah.
genres,
Love it.
with yeah, country music, uh, maybe heavy metal. Probably the only one I don't listen to be honest.
Really? That's all right.
Um,
That's all right.
that's that's the only one I probably don't listen to. But I've listened to nearly most of the music genres I've listened to.
Right.
Uh, you
That's
know,
cool.
it's like you know, obviously growing up, you have one or two artists. Because as a kid, you only listen to a couple of people, and you're like mad
Yeah.
about. But now it's like whatever is good. Then and you think, okay, I need to listen to this in this different genre of music, and then you
Right.
know you start listening to it, you get hooked into it. On the But yeah, it definitely has a different vibe to it, but
Thank
obviously
you.
with country music. So yeah, and yeah, that's very. And how has the response been like for your new single?
It's been great. I think it's important to note for me that this is my first song that I've released in a while. I took a really good chunk of time off, mostly by not my own choosing. I had some vocal stuff going on. But I took a pause on songwriting for a second. And for me, it was important that even though the pause for me was not intentional and I wasn't planning for it, it was important for me to use that to my best advantage and to take that and really kind of reapproach my sound, my songwriting, all of it. And I really sat back and thought about, okay, these are the songs I've released. This is the sound. I would really like to start heading in this direction with this type of music. And I took that as the time to do my homework and to reach deeper into myself to find those songs that I knew I was capable of and the hooks and all of it that I was capable of. So this has really been me taking all that time and bringing it into fruition and serving people these platters of new music.
Yeah, definitely, and your social media, like you said, is all available on the website. So you're available on all of the main media social media platforms.
Yeah.
Twitter. I don't know if they call it Twitter anymore now. Is it called X? Is it X? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be confused with.
I know that's. I'm just used to it in my mind. Twitter. That's all
It's
it means.
tough. It's
It's
tough
it,
to recalibrate your brain to think of
exactly,
something else.
exactly. It's just it's the new owner of Twitter, decided to change the name, and and I'm like, I'm still not in with it. But I'm still saying Twitter to everyone, but there you go.
Right.
But yeah, so Twitter, so Facebook and X and Instagram, you're on all the good stuff. Um, so yeah, so obviously do check her out on there and give you feedback to her music on there, because I guess especially with yourself and everyone, then you have obviously the interactions on social media, so that must be nice to get those live feedbacks from from your fans and stuff. And
Yeah, absolutely. And it's cool on all calibers to be
mm,
able to use the influence and the opportunity that social media can bring, as well as its reach that you can bring as well with releasing new music.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So lots of stuff. So you're planning to get two more singles out this year?
Three actually, three more
Three more.
singles out this year. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So, and any ideas on these singles at the moment? Is there? Do you have any ideas of what they're going to be about at the moment?
Yeah,
Uh,
we have all of them lined up, ready to go. The sound is going to continue to progress, excuse me, in a little bit of the direction that you get a taste of in Bury Me on Broadway, and I'm very excited for people to see the introduction that was compared to where we end up at the end of the year.
wow, excellent. Yeah, absolutely. So you've been obviously in singing now for quite like you said, it's been quite a while now, isn't it? Your journey,
Yeah.
so far, on there, and obviously, it must, yeah, it must be nice as well that. You have, like you said, you've got a good team, and then obviously
Yeah.
the promotion people, and like who I collaborate with Anna Castle. She's really good.
Yes.
uh, yeah, and so many of them, and I guess that does help on that. So who promotes your social media? Do you have a team who does that as well?
I do all my social media.
You do it yourself?
I
Wow.
do. I think it's important that people feel like they're connecting to me through my
Hmm.
social media because it is me. I think it's important that people are getting to know me entirely through that.
And do you manage to get time to respond to all of the?
No, I wish I did. I so wish I did. I try to take care
Yeah,
of it a few times a week to make sure that I'm getting back to people and trying to connect with them. But unfortunately, I know I do miss some of them.
miss of them. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it must be hard. Obviously, they must understand as well.
I hope
Um,
so. I hope so.
yeah, because they know that a singer's life is like 24/7. It's not like,
Yeah.
it's not a 9 to 5 job where you finish and that's you always like singing. You probably singing. You're probably singing in your sleep. Are you like
Yeah.
thinking thinking about music, because that's what artists do. They always, what I've been told is they always like, they can come up with an idea of music at any time, any given time, and
Oh, absolutely. It can inspiration comes from everywhere.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So do check it out. Do check out her official YouTube channel as well, and which is available on our website. Do check it out. Do subscribe on there, and obviously do if you do like our content, do subscribe to the right podcast as well, which used to be
Yeah.
called something else, but yes, it's on there, and obviously we'll have lots of upcoming lots of female empowerment, very talented singers, and lots of other people coming up as well in the next few days. But yeah, absolutely, it's been a pleasure to have you on, and I still seem to have a lot of energy, even though it's so late in the UK. So
Good.
I seem to have a lot of energy. Maybe it's the weather. The weather's good in the UK, so maybe that's
Good.
helping. That's helping. But yeah, definitely, it's been nice to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been nice to have you on. Yeah, absolutely. On there and regarding just to quickly mention, um, how about touring? Are you touring at the moment in the US or abroad?
Yeah, I am a little bit. It's kind of here and there right now for me. I'm always working on a full-fledged tour, but right now where you can find me most of the time is here in Nashville.
Any plans to come to the UK anywhere?
I would love that. I don't have any plans right now, but I would love to start making them.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I think there'll be lots of UK fans who are obviously following you. They would definitely be looking forward to for you to come to the UK at some point. I'm sure that's going to happen at some
Yes.
point. You're still very, very, very young, so you've got lots of time to be touring. Definitely. Absolutely, yes. Thank you very much. Wishing you lots of success for your
Thank you.
upcoming singles. I'm sure they're going to do really well. And on there, and like I said, that is website is on the description along with all the links. It would be we would put on there as well. And on there, and obviously we will be back very soon with lots of interviews. Darian, thank you very much. Have a
Thank you.
enjoy your rest of your day. I'm sure you'll be planning lots of stuff even today, tomorrow, over the weekend. Do you get any time off during the week?
Not too much, not too much during the week. And I mean, weekends for musicians is kind of your like main time to go, but I do try to put a few hours or any amount of time here and there where I can to let my brain rest a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely. To have a bit of a recharge, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. That's something which is needed. But yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you very much, Danny, for coming on, and also thanks to obviously Anne Castle for making it happen. She's always good. And thank you very much to her team as well on in Burn Entertainment. Thank you, and wishing you lots of success in your singles and your EP. Are you planning to come out with the EP this year?
We're always working towards something like that for sure. But thank you
Yeah,
so much for having me. This has been so fun.
yeah, absolutely. It's been so nice to have you on. Thank you very much. Thank you.